Hey, Brad, how you doing?
Great to see you, sir. How you doing?
Yeah, I wanted just to have a quick interview with you, and why don't you just first give me a quick 30-second, 1 minute overview of who's Brad?
Great. I am Brad Coffey. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer at HubSpot. Been here since, the early days. I think I'm going on 10, 11 years now. I was like employee number 15, so I've seen this road for a while, but excited about where we are and what our futures holds too.
I was going to ask how does one become the Chief Strategy Officer of HubSpot? I imagine just being the 15th employee isn't enough.
No, I think it's, I think it was one of our COO, JD Sherman, often calls strategy the land of misfit toys. It's sort of like where they stick the people. They don't know where else to stick anyone. No, for my career, it's interesting. Came in operations. I frankly bought Salesforce.com for us and implemented it the very first time. But as part of that, really started to understand like how our company worked, how our leads got from HubSpot tool at the time into sales reps' hands, how well sales reps are engaging on those, who became customers. And so it was just a skill set where I feel like I could answer a lot of questions because I could do the reporting and I understood where to pull the data from. And that just really naturally led to a lot of curiosity about what worked and what didn't work. And then, got invitations to the right spots to say, well, when I look at the data, this is what I think is happening. And this is where I think we should go. And, we had a few very sort of seminal moments in our history, happy to talk about, where we had to make a few big decisions, and those at least worked well enough that they haven't kicked me out yet. So that's how it happens.
Okay, if you don't get kicked out, that's also
That's right.
one way to the top. So what does a chief strategy officer do? What's a day in the life of the?
Yeah, so I think everyone's a little bit different. What we do here at HubSpot is I own the strategic planning, which is actually much more of about the process than the outcome of it, because obviously we've got a full exec team. We've got we try to take input for everyone, but we want to make sure we have a really thoughtful process in how we do some of that planning, both in the short term and the long term, how it ties off to our financials and our operating plan. And a big part of that is, of course, what are the new areas that we're going to get into from a buy, build, or partner strategy. Work very closely with our product team on the build side. I was in product for a long time here at HubSpot, and we've got we're a build first company. So a lot of it is sort of driven by that, but where we need to augment that with some partnerships or maybe some M&A or even some investments to learn more about new areas or to sort of lay a stake in a certain area that's going to help us grow our customers grow. Those parts roll up to me more directly, and so drive a lot of those partnerships, which has gotten really interesting the last couple of years. Our shift to freemium has made those much more interesting. We just have a much bigger user base. We also can be a much more interesting partner, whereas before, if you were going to try to resell HubSpot software as marketing agencies do, you need to know a ton about HubSpot. You need to really be able to understand the use cases, where with a free tool and something that people can buy touchlessly, just opens us up to a whole new set of partners that we can work with. So that's been really interesting for us. And then lastly, there's some tactical things like pricing and packaging, which are sort of very specific projects that we've got a team on that I work with, but that roll in there and they're sort of an important part of our go-to-market.
So we have one or two more minutes left. So I just wanted to ask, what do you see as the biggest challenge from where you sit for HubSpot? Because you guys have grown like crazy. I mean, to continue that growth, what's the biggest challenge you guys?
Yeah, I think what's interesting, and I give our CEO Brian a ton of credit for it now, is we need to continue to change and evolve. I think if we had just stuck to what works and what has worked in the past, that stuff gets stale, and it's very tempting to. Like that at this point, they're big revenue streams, and it's stuff that we've proven out to work. But I think we all know that like not all of those processes are perfect. Not all the way all those products set up are perfect. Not all the way those products are built are perfect. And if we don't continue to try to push ourselves and test ourselves, change, like we'll become a dinosaur and we'll go stale. And And so the flip side of that is change is freaking hard. You know, like we went from a single product company to a multi-product company with a freemium thing. Man, we stubbed our toe a few times. You know, I think enough stuff worked and we learned from those lessons. And one of the things HubSpot does is we try not to make the same mistake twice. But change is hard. And so as we look out in the future, there's more change that we want to do. And I think we're always trying to manage through that. But it's also really exciting, and those are the most fun projects you could possibly work on. So we're excited to it. We made a bunch of announcements at Inbound this year, and just hoping to continue to execute on that vision as we do go forward.
Okay, well, why don't you leave us with one exciting thing that's coming up that you're able to share us?
Oh, geez, one exciting thing. I think our shift to the flywheel focus is going to be huge for HubSpot. We've been sort of, I think, working on what is that next metaphor for us after Inbound, and the idea of, you know, trying to spin that flywheel faster and remove friction from every part of our business. That's the change that we're trying to work through right now and make sure we help all our customers work through. And I think it'll be big. I'm very excited about it.
I couldn't agree more. Thanks, Brad.